The CRTC wants to know how radio, TV, and digital platforms in Canada can best meet the needs of Indigenous viewers, listeners, and content creators. Join the conversation today at crtc.gc.ca/indigenous-broadcasting.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Le CRTC veut savoir comment la radio, la télévision et les plateformes numériques au Canada peuvent mieux répondre aux besoins des spectateurs, auditeurs et créateurs de contenu autochtones. Joignez-vous à la conversation aujourd'hui au crtc.gc.ca/radiodiffusion-union autochtone.
Un message du gouvernement du Canada.
I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Wednesday, May 22nd. The trial of Jeremy Skibicki, admitted killer of 4 Indigenous women, continues. And as his defense claims he's not criminally responsible due to mental illness, the Crown counters it was intentional and racially motivated. Taking the stand on Tuesday, a crime analyst with the Winnipeg Police Service. T.R. Wheatley reports. A story with some disturbing details.
Those inside the courtroom were told that on May 16, 2022, a day after the partial remains of Rebecca Contois were found in garbage bins behind his apartment, Jeremy Skibicki got onto his computer and searched for an article on a local media website relating to the discovery. He told court that Engine's search about remains found is just one of over 500,000 artifacts that WPS examined on Skibicki's computer tower from the beginning of 2022 until his arrest on May 18, 2022. Johansson testified amongst the data included searches relating to garbage day pickups, missing persons, bus schedules to homeless shelters, DNA, and fingerprints. He also provided a timeline of Skibicki's computer usage relating to all 4 women, giving a highlight of some of the more notable searches Skibicki made from early March until his arrest. It's believed Buffalo woman was the first victim, sometime in early March 2022. The only DNA found of hers is on the cuff of the arm of a baby fat jacket. Johansson told court on March 15 about a search Skibicki did, quote, "How long can Winnipeg police keep your DNA?" That same day, Johansson told court that Skibicki searched for a bus route to a nearby Staples store to look for shipping package material. 2 days later, on March 17, he searched something similar, quote, "Does washing clothes remove DNA?" as well as a search for, quote, "explosive anger disorder." Court also heard that on March 20, Skibicki searched how long do places usually keep their security footage. During his interrogation, Skibicki told police he may have been on camera with his first victim at a homeless shelter. Skibicki's next victim was Morgan Harris. Johansson testified that on May 1st, he searched, quote, "How long does it take for hot water to come back?" He told court this stood out in the search engine results because in Skibicki's interrogation, he talked about drowning Harris. Court heard for the next week that followed. Skibicki had numerous waste management searches. He also spent some time searching the Bear Clan page for missing persons. This is also the same time frame Mercedes Myron was killed. Police have said they believe she died on May 4th. On May 5th, Johansson testified that Skibicki searched for the, quote, "definition of a serial killer," and on May 14, Skibicki searched for, "Do Muslims behead people with knives?" On May 16, the same day of the discovery of Contois' remains, Skibicki had searched, quote, "Do fingerprints only get on smooth surfaces?" and "How long can police keep fingerprints?" Johansson testified that he also examined Skibicki's Facebook usage. Among the more notable data, Skibicki searched for the Bear Clan Patrol page for missing persons more than 80 times on his Facebook account. Johansson said that he also examined Facebook conversations between Skibicki and his ex-wife, some of which talking about heartbreak from his marriage breakdown. Last week, his ex-wife testified about some of those conversations, including Skibicki telling her he may go away for 3 life sentences. The Crown is expected to call one more witness this week to help them prove that the killings were intentional and racially motivated. Defense claims that Skibicki is not criminally responsible on account of mental disorder. The trial is expected to last until June 6. T.R. Wheatley, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
And for further trial coverage, visit aptnnews.ca. And should portions of this report prove triggering, supports are available 24/7 at 1-844-413-6649. Still in Manitoba, where a 37,000-hectare wildfire came within a kilometer of the town of Cranberry Portage, some 7 hours northwest of Winnipeg. And with residents evacuated, owners of a local gas bar stayed behind to feed those fighting to save their community. An extraordinary effort by Melissa and Blair Lundy, some call heroic.
Well, yeah, they needed a lot of energy, so nothing like a warm meal at the end of the day.
And Melissa Lundy says she dug deep to make sure firefighters and ground crew got to enjoy free home-cooked meals like moose hamburger soup and roast beef. She and husband Blair say other nearby gas stations lost power, but their generator kept them afloat. In fact, MNB's gas bar was the only place up and running within a half-hour's drive. Blair Lundy says the choice to stay behind wasn't a hard one.
Yeah, because the power was out from Cranberry Portage all the way to the Pinthon. And so I just knew that there was no resources in place yet to provide food and meals and water and, just the basic things that they need to go and work the fire.
From fires to floods we go now, with the northernmost First Nation in the Yukon issuing an emergency declaration Friday evening. Now, Old Crow, home to the Vuntut-Gwitchin First Nation, roughly 800 kilometers north of Whitehorse, is on flood watch because of ice jams in the Porcupine River during seasonal breakup. Water levels have dropped since Sunday, although forecast rains could lead to more peaks. That said, levels are not expected to exceed those seen Sunday. Response teams now assess how meltwater from area mountains could impact water levels around the community. So far, Vuntut-Gwitchin say no one's had to evacuate. Mike Fancy is with the Porcupine River response team.
Things seem more or less stable now on the river itself, but there is meltwater that is draining down from the mountain and creating some issues we need to resolve around specifically the sewage lagoon that receives all of the liquid waste in Old Crow, and a road that provides access to both the lagoon and the dump. So we're putting a lot of our effort into making sure that the sewage lagoon and the dump remain operational and that those services can be provided to the community.
The First Nations emergency declaration will remain in effect for 90 days unless terminated or extended by Council. And finally, a recent report on policing by the Auditor General of Canada has found Public Safety Canada has failed to collaborate with Indigenous communities. Here with a first-hand perspective on policing, APTN's Kajata Alexandra Vea Chizo.
I really like it. It's a really great job. I'm fortunate to work at home, which is not the case for everyone.
Etienne Prudhomme has been a police officer for 3 years with the Abenaki Police Force in Odanak, his home community.
I know the people and it's easier to approach them. I know their names and they know mine too.
Eric Cloutier is the Abenaki Police Forces Director. He has worked for more than 26 years to maintain and develop the service.
The first motivation is to help their people, keep them safe. The second is to see that we're a very proactive organization. We make a great deal of effort and try to find solutions to improve the working conditions of all police officers and find innovative ways to help the population despite being underfunded.
That task is important to him, but holds many challenges.
I need at least 12 police officers. If the budget given to me only allows for 6, I have a problem.
Pierre Simard is the General Manager of Quebec Association of First Nation and Inuit Police Directors, and he has some key needs.
The ultimate priority is recognizing Indigenous police forces in Quebec as an essential service. Currently, under the law in Quebec, an Indigenous police force is not even considered an official one, but a security agency.
The findings in our last audit report on the First Nations and Inuit policing program are equally concerning.
This March, Auditor General of Canada, Karen Hogan, tabled her report on the First Nations and Inuit policing program. It denounced Public Safety Canada for not working in partnership with Indigenous communities.
This leaves First Nations and Inuit communities without the level of proactive and community-focused policing services that they should receive.
Mélanie Joannis is the director of the Office of the Auditor General. She says the report recommends a renewed approach.
It's really important to start from the bottom. What's the demand? What's the need? And to ensure that we have a way of financing it that's fair and can allow the funds to be dispersed in a timely manner.
Following the Auditor General's audit, Public Safety Canada accepted the report's recommendations.
The purpose of patrolling, a police officer's duty is to prevent crime. It's to show ourselves.
In addition, the Abenaki Police Force serves 2 communities. Odanak, where the police station is located, as well as Wolinak.
Souvent de nuit, on va être seul.
We're often alone at night. It can be dangerous even if we think Odanak and Wallanack are small communities. It's quiet, but no, anything can happen.
40 kilometers separate the two communities.
When you're on the road between the communities, the radio waves cut out because they don't go to the center. Better radio waves could help us a lot too. We don't have offices there.
On n'a pas de bureau là-bas.
For Prudhomme, contributing to his community's well-being is what pushes him to overcome various obstacles.
J'ai été cuisinier avant.
I used to be a cook. It was a job I was very satisfied with. I had a lot of fun, but now at the end of my day, I go home and I tell myself, I've made small differences in some people's lives, and they're important.
C'est important.
Kijate Alexandra Veillet-Chizo, APTN National News, Odanak.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Wednesday, May 22nd. I'm Rick Harp.